Happy Friday! This is Pushing the Limits with Paul Lance, identifying as Brian Shapiro. For those of you that don't know, Brian Shapiro is sitting on JD's couch on the beach wearing orange makeup. Yes, it is Friday. It's a little gross, but you know, it is Friday. We got to have a little bit of fun here. Okay, what's happening? There's obviously nothing going on in the news. So let's go over really quick what happened yesterday right before the show started. So yesterday we were supposed to interview Congressman Eric Swalwell. About 10 minutes before the show started, we got a phone call from his staff, and he had to cancel because Alex Padilla was drug out of the DHS meeting with Kristi Noem for wanting to ask a question. He identified himself as Congressman Alex Padilla. It's on video. You can hear him. They drug him out. They put him on the ground on his stomach. They handcuffed him behind his back. And from what I can tell, that he wasn't officially arrested. It looks like he was released. He did go on the news later and said that he wants peaceful protests. He was really disturbed by what happened, and a lot of Democrats were. And I will say this. I do give a lot of criticisms to Democrats because they are not fighting like we need them to. I will say that yesterday, they all got together. They marched in there together as a unified effort. So if anything positive came out of that, the one good thing is it seems like at least for a few hours yesterday, they seemed to find some kind of semblance of leadership or a backbone or uniformity. So that's good. The other thing that happened yesterday really quick, it looks like in that airline that crashed, somehow, some way, out of all the hundreds of people that passed away, sadly, one guy walked away. That's crazy. One guy walked away from the plane crash. One more quick news thing that's been on the news since I came in the office, because I haven't been on the news a whole lot just in the last couple hours. So yesterday, Israel fired missiles into Iran, and not just at Iran. They were targeting their nuclear plants. So that's not good. And then now it looks like Iran is striking back. Tel Aviv is under attack. There's missiles flying everywhere. If you go on any news network right now, it literally looks like the 4th of July. That's not good. It's not good. So I hope whatever's going on, I hope that the president speaks about this, talks about it. I haven't heard anything from him yet. For all I know, he doesn't even know that it's happened. Maybe Steve Miller has to tell him. Maybe he needs to go to Truth Social and find his news, or I don't know. But I'm not even sure if the president knows that's happening. That's kind of how I feel about him in the country. I wanted to start the story, the show a little with a personal story today. So at the end of my show yesterday, one of the callers, we discussed the general strike, right? To how we really stop fascism by the country coming together and really solving the problems of this country. And I had a friend message me this morning, text me, and she's like, that's not going to work. I can't do that. I can't afford to do this. And I said, hey, I understand it's not for you. And I pushed back a little bit and I said, yesterday there was a woman that was 9 months pregnant that had done nothing wrong, and ICE came and grabbed her. And then they had caused some damage to her and she had to go to the hospital. She's 9 months pregnant. And I said, what are we supposed to do? Aren't we supposed to be caring for our neighbors? And she said, well, I'm not going to do that for a pregnant. I'm not going to jeopardize my privilege for that pregnant woman. In not so many words. See, and I think that's fundamentally why we're still here as a country. I feel like there's too many people that are waiting for something to happen to them. Oh, that was her. That was them. That's not going to happen to me. And then, I just think that's unfortunate. My understanding was patriotism, Americanism, American first should be about taking care of America first. I went to the protest 2 days ago. I told that story. I went down there and I felt like I was in Mexico. It was wonderful. I felt like I was going to sit down and have a beer and carnitas and tortas. And it was just a great, great time. Obviously, at the end of the night at 11 o'clock, there were some knuckleheads that did some silly things. But you know what? I'm not getting deported. I'm not having ICE come to my house. But why did I go down there? Because they live here. They're my neighbors. They're good people. Now, for all of you that continue to push this BS about they're here illegally, you voted for a man who's an adjudicated rapist, a convicted felon, a guy who pardoned 1,500 U.S. citizens that are here legally on January 6th. So please spare us all the crap about you care about law and order and legality. Now, the reality is all the administrations over the last couple of decades should have done something about the immigration system. And Joe Biden put a bill out at the end of last year before the election that would have changed the system. Was it perfect? No. Did both sides get what they wanted? No. Was it a perfect bill? No. But it did something. And it was shot down. Because the orange Jesus in the White House had to use that on his campaign to say that the brown people are here. And that's exactly what's happening right now. If you're brown and you've been here for 30 years, you've never committed a crime, we're going to come snatch you off the streets. I got a text this morning from my wife, and they're close to our house in our cities. They're snatching kids out of schools. You're fine with that? I'm not. But I'm also not going to sit on my ass and say, well, you know, that doesn't affect me. I'm not going to jeopardize myself. That is literally the definition of white privilege. And that's the reason we're here as a country. Because for too long, people that look like me and my demographic have sat on our ass and we sat out. And we said, you know what? Segregation didn't affect me. What happened to the Native Americans didn't affect me. Jim Crow didn't affect me. Taking the land from the Mexicans didn't affect me. Women's rights didn't affect me. So I'm not going to give a shit. I'm just going to sit behind. And I believe that change in this country is only going to happen one way. People that look like me are going to have to say what I'm saying right here to you. And that's what I encourage you to do. That's the only way change is going to happen. You want to criticize privilege? Great. But then use it for good. That's what I would propose to you. So let's start off with this very interesting story. This is not a story, a speech that a sheriff gave in Florida. Let's listen and talk on the other side.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to.
Okay. Wow. Nothing says I love Jesus, right, Sheriff? Now, look, I was even talking to Numchuck before we came here. I don't completely disagree with what he's saying. I want law and order as well. But here's the thing. First of all, watch the video. There's no way that guy's going to chase me down the street. Okay? He's going to make it about half a block and then have to stop and take a breath for 5 minutes. Let's be real. Secondly, why is everything about law and order? Why isn't there compassion? Did I hear the sheriff say, hey, you know what? I understand that there's a lot of concerns about immigration, but the citizens of Florida, they're not convicted felons. They've done nothing wrong. They just happen to be brown. No, see, he doesn't want to talk about that. And that cop is kind of the embodiment of this white patriarchy, right? Law and order, law and order. And I would guarantee you, I would bet my house that that cop is a MAGA. I would bet you that that cop said nothing about January 6th, that he voted for a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist, a guy who has dinner with the guy that praises Adolf Hitler. But hey, the protesters, we're going to come strong, law and order. That's a problem. And I've seen a lot of videos on TikTok about these wannabe alpha males that are, and I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it one more time. These military guys are saying, well, I'm an alpha male, and the real guys, they're from unit 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, ABC, and they train on the surface of the sun, and they sleep at the bottom of the ocean, and they eat tree bark, and they use lava as sunscreen. You don't want to mess with them. They're real men. Look, the military's job is supposed to serve and protect. The fact that we have any of our military that are like rabid dogs, barking, drooling, veins bulging. You ever seen like a dog on a leash where they see like a squirrel or a cat and you have to yank them back and they're pulling the owner? The military should not be that. They should not be wearing a uniform if that's how they view their service. You're supposed to serve and protect the people. You shouldn't be begging for somebody to throw a paper airplane or a pebble at you because you want retribution. And that's a fundamental problem, is this toxic masculinity, right? This wannabe alpha male. There's this lack of compassion and empathy and just basic human emotions. Tough guy, tough guy. I'm a hammer and everything else is a nail. All right, let's go to one of our favorite people. Our next clip is one of our least favorite Christian nationalists, Laura Boebert. Let's see what she has to say. I'm sure it's very wisdom-filled and insightful.
Thank you, Governor Pritzker.
I find it hard to believe that you're lecturing us
Yes or
about
no?
peaceful protest. Look at what
Yes or
happened
no?
January 6th here at the Capitol.
No, what we're
The
seeing in
attack
LA
on
is
our
an
democracy.
insurrection. You want to talk about
That
an
is an
insurrection? This is an
insurrection.
absolute insurrection.
You don't
They are-
understand what insurrection
I
is
asked
when
you a
people are
yes or
trying to
no
overturn
question,
an
sir,
election
and
here
I'm
at
showing,
the Congress.
I started this off
You
showing
were
you
here. They were
decorum, and I would
attacking you, by
respect
the way.
same. I would expect the same.
I'm answering your question. It is outrageous.
it-
You are asking
Is
us
it
these
peaceful to
when you're the one condoning
to destroy
pardoning of people who attack
private and
police
government property?
right here at our
Governor
Capitol.
Governor Hochul.
All right, as usual, Lauren Boebert, the wannabe Beetlejuice lady who's doing a reach around with her boyfriend because, you know, that's the design of God in a movie theater after she leaves her husband. And Lauren, I thought that God's design was that marriage to be for one man and one woman, not one man and a boyfriend that you're groping in a theater and vaping in a theater. But that's another conversation for a different show. Again, this is fundamentally the problem here. It's the pure hypocrisy of these white nationalist evangelicals. January 6th was peaceful, you know. Anyway, it's just a hypocrisy for me. She's fine with January 6th. She's fine voting for an adjudicated rapist. All that's cool. But somehow, peaceful protests with a couple of bad eggs. And I had this conversation with my Uber driver this morning and how we focus on the bad stuff, right? Let's look at an example. What happened to George Floyd? We all agree that was awful when the cop murdered him. 93% of the protests, 93% were peaceful. But what does the right wing do? Oh my God, the 7%. Oh, the summer of love. But January 6th was peaceful because it fits their demographic. Same thing with gun violence, right? 43,000 people die every year from gun violence. They pick one white girl. What was her name? Ashley Babbitt. Yeah, Babbitt. No, she was from January 6th. Lincoln Riley. Sorry, Lincoln Riley. They find one white person that was murdered by an immigrant. It was awful. It should have never happened. Just like the other 43,000 people that died from gun violence that year. But what do you see Mike Johnson, the white nationalist, do? He makes pictures of her. He puts bills on her name. He talks about her every day because it makes his little wannabe alpha male base angry and pissed off. And in a live yesterday, we had this conversation. Republicans vote on basic human emotions, feelings. They want people to be pissed off and angry. That's why they don't care about facts. Now, on the other side, I would argue with the Democrats, sometimes they get a little too elitist, right? How many people didn't vote for Kamala Harris? Well, she only checked off 95 out of the 100 boxes, and I need perfection. It's kind of crazy, the two extremes, right? But that's just where we are. But I find it rich that's happening. Now, I don't know if I had a clip from Marjorie Taylor. I didn't have that one next, but let's go to the next clip with Mr. Peter Ducey here from Fox News talking about immigration and asking him why we're deporting everybody that's brown.
First, on immigration, what made you change your mind about targeting in California farmers and people in the hotels and leisure business?
Well, we're not targeting. In fact, if you look today, I put out a statement today about farmers. Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look and they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers and leisure too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
Wow. Hearing Donald Trump use the word common sense is, wow, that's rich. Common sense. The guy's wearing orange makeup and diapers. Yeah, common sense. Let's have that conversation. So wait, just so we're clear. He ran on, I'm going to get rid of all the felons, the murderers, the insane asylums. They're being dumped in here by the trillions and trillions and trillions. Scare all the white people. Now, oh wait. You mean that the people that are working in the fields that aren't criminals are being deported and the farmers are losing their crops? Because that's what's happening in Florida. A lot of the tomato crops right now, they're being plowed over because they can't afford to maintain them. Do you see the MAGA going out in the fields and working? MAGA, I thought you wanted America first. You have a chance to go out and pick produce in Florida. Go build the houses. Why don't you go do that? Oh, not those jobs. Oh, okay, that's too much hard work. Oh, I get it. You just want the immigrants to do the jobs that you're too lazy to do, and you want to pay them a low wage. Okay, that's really what this is about. But again, this guy has no idea what he's talking about here. So let's, we're going to go to a caller actually a little early because I guess her name is Debbie. Is that correct? Debbie's actually from the county that we're talking about from that sheriff. How are you, Debbie?
I'm fine, thank you.
What's on your mind today? You want to call in and say something about that sheriff?
Sheriff Ivy, I never could stand him from the time that I moved here to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he's a good old boy. He thinks he's a bad but he's just pathetic. He's all talk.
When I look at him, Debbie, correct me if, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry. When I look at him, what I see is basically, 80 years ago, he would have ran a plantation. That's what he strikes me as. Am I wrong?
That's what he is.
Yeah.
From the good old days of those days. And we don't need that anymore.
Why do you think that
above me in Volusia County, he's a wonderful man. And that's Chuck Lick. And he treats everybody the same.
You're breaking up just a little bit, Debbie. Well, thank you for calling in, and then we can, if you want to call later, we'll do. I just wanted to take a early call because you called in, so thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you.
All right, see you, Debbie. Have a good weekend. Hopefully, Debbie's not running late for her Antifa meeting hosted by George Soros on Hillary's on Hillary's emails through Hunter Biden's laptop. So, but again, going back to what this guy said, talking about reasonable and logic, I find it rich that we told him that he was just going against brown people. And I've been in Vegas since Tuesday, and I cannot tell you how many Uber drivers I've spoken to that have said, now they didn't vote for him, but they said, you know, when he ran, I heard he was going after the bad people, the criminals. I'm okay with that too. Go after the criminals. The problem is the person saying this is a criminal. He's a convicted felon. So how you expect a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist that cheats on his wife, to be the moral standard? I mean, you got to be some kind of stupid to really believe that. Like, did you fall out of the coconut tree and hit every branch on the way down? Did your mom drop you with your baby? Like, you really have to have a level of cognitive dissonance, like the first caller yesterday that went to the normal, well, it's George Soros in the deep state. Anyway, that's where we are. All right, let's go to one more clip from their brilliant orange messiah, their orange Jesus that's playing 5D chess, while obviously all of us just aren't smart enough to understand him. Let's listen to one more clip on a Friday since we're going to have a little bit of fun here.
Peter?
Thank you, President Trump. I have two. First, on immigration. What made you change your mind about targeting in California farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business?
Well, we're not targeting. In fact, if you look today, I put out a statement today about farmers. Our farmers are being hurt badly by, you know, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, you know, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you know, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do.
I think that was part of that first clip. So basically what he's saying, this brainiac here that's playing 8D chess to his red hatters, is the people that have been here for 20, 30 years that have never committed a crime, all of a sudden, logically, we shouldn't get rid of them because the farmers are losing their livelihoods because all of the people that are working their jobs are being deported by the people that he was told them to deport, people in high school, juniors, pregnant mothers, 4-year-olds with cancer. And now what he's saying is so basically what he's saying is the farmers are going to go out and hire rapists and felons and criminals to replace the people that have been here for 30 years that have never committed a crime. This is your Jesus, huh? This is the guy that God himself sent you. This guy, not the black woman, not the most qualified candidate ever to run for president. Racism sure is expensive, right? What is that quote one of my friends, Morgan, sent me? That this country will support the most uneducated, unqualified white man while he's picking your wallet over the most qualified black woman. That should be on a postcard. That should literally be the American motto right now. All right, let's go to Caitlin Collins interviewing J.D. Vance, who looks like he's had a lot of makeup done, but let's talk about this guy really quick for 1 second on a Friday.
But you can't police people for being anti-Israel or pro-Israel. You can police people for violating the law. And we have seen some of that with some of these protests.
Okay, so you agree that people who break in and vandalize a building should be prosecuted?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just checking because you did help raise money for people who did so on January 6th, which was, you know, impeding an official proceeding, breaking into a building that they weren't allowed to be in, and vandalizing the Capitol.
Well, Caitlin, I know that this is the obsession of the national media to talk about what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago on January the 6th.
It's not an obsession. I'm just seeing if it's a double standard.
No, let me answer the question, Caitlin. I mean, look, here's been my basic argument about January the 6th. If you beat up a cop, of course you deserve to go to prison. If you violated the law, you should suffer the consequences. But there are people who protested on January the 6th who have had the complete weight of the Justice Department thrown at them when, at worst, they're accused of misdemeanors. Now, again, there are people who are accused of worse offenses, and that's a problem. But you can't have Black Lives Matter protesters who rioted and vandalized goes free when you have people who were actually peacefully protesting on January the 6th who have the book thrown at them. That's the double standard that I'm most worried about.
Yeah, I don't think there's an obsession with January 6th, but it is a legitimate question. And given what you just said there, and as Trump is getting closer to, as he's a presumptive Republican nominee, he has said he would pardon, it's considered a blanket pardon for everyone on January 6th. Are you saying that?
So obviously that was a clip from before the election. Now I find it rich that this white supremacist J.D. Vance here looks at January 6th as peaceful protesters, how he cares so much about law and order, and how he basically called his orange daddy the America's Hitler. He said that his orange daddy was America's Hitler. And then he lost his balls because Donald Trump put him in his pocket. And he said, "Yes, daddy, will you please let me run with you for vice president?" And then he makes a comment that if Vice President Harris is elected, what was the phrase? The White House is going to smell like curry or something because she's part Indian? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? Law and order, right? January 6th. Why? Yeah, I can't imagine. Why are we obsessed with January 6th? I don't know. Maybe because Officer Sitnik will never let his kids grow up. Maybe the other officers that took their own lives because of the PTSD. Maybe other officers are being chased down halls like Michael Fanone by Enrique Tarrio, the white supremacist. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe the cops that are missing eyes, the ones that are missing fingers, the one that have crushed vertebrae, the guys that can no longer physically work because, yeah, I don't know, J.D. Vance. I don't know why we just keep talking about it. Maybe we should just stop talking about it. Let's talk about BLM, right? When's the last time you saw J.D. Vance talk about George Floyd and how a white U.S. citizen police officer murdered a black man while 3 other U.S. citizen officers stood there? Do you see J.D. Vance talking about Ahmaud Arbery chased down by 3 white U.S. citizens? Just because he's going for a jog. But he's a black man, so he must be stealing a TV, right, J.D. Vance? He is the epitome of white supremacy in this country. And that's what we have to talk. That's what we have to talk about. That's why Brian talks about it. That's why I talk about it. It's just a straight up racism. It's always the summer of love or Lincoln Riley or somehow the white person always ends up being the victim in Donald Trump's America. It's never that. You always want to talk about the Second Amendment, right? Because you're American. You're a patriot. Yeah, you're a real man. Let's talk about the 3/5 clause. Oh, does that bother you? You want to talk about Black Wall Street? Does that bother you? How about segregation? It's funny how you only want to talk about two or three sentences in the Constitution that allow you to be some kind of toxic male. I find that very rich how you love history, but only the white parts. But anyway, that's J.D. Vance in a nutshell. So let's go to our favorite. What kind of cross is she wearing today? Love it. Gold, silver, purple. Is it wood, cardboard? Let's find out what she has to say because I'm sure it's going to be very insightful.
Protests on Saturday would be met with force. Can you clarify what kind of protest President Trump does support or find acceptable?
The president absolutely supports peaceful protests. He supports the First Amendment. He supports the right of Americans to make their voices heard. He does not support violence of any kind. He does not support assaulting law enforcement officers who are simply trying to do their job. It's very clear for the president what he supports and what he does not. Unfortunately for Democrats, that line has not been made clear, and they've allowed this unrest and this violence to continue, and the president has had to step in.
Quick question. So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the military parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question. Raquel.
Yeah, such a stupid question. As she sits up there and works with an adjudicated rapist and convicted felon. The guy that says, if they protest, I'm going to drop law and order. This is what happens with bullies. And let me go on a quick personal story. I grew up with a father that was a bully. He put my mom through a wall. He would stab us with a fork if we ate with our mouth open, throw us down a hill. He was a bully. And then every Sunday, our God is an awesome God, he reigns. And that's exactly what his base is. Bullies are insecure little boys who matured in 7th grade. Think about this. This president, while his wife is at home with their 2-week-old son, should be celebrating, should be happy, rocking him to sleep, taking pictures, feeding him, changing his diapers. He's banging a porn star in Las Vegas. This is their alpha male, huh? But you just couldn't vote for the black woman. Why do you guys want to get over January 6th? Why is it? Because it's race, right? If you're white and you commit crimes, it's okay. They all get pardons. The lady in Nevada, right? They raised money for the police because one of the officers lost his life for his family, and she took it and used it for herself. Well, you get a pardon, lady. Charles Kushner. Tax fraud. Witness intimidation. You get a pardon. And while you're at it, Cory Booker, the guy that's trying to have a spine and did a 26-hour speech. Yep, he's going to vote for you too because, the Democrats are just fighting for you right now, America. But please, put us back in power in 2026. I promise that we'll do better. Sure, isn't that rich? How about the cop that sold a bunch of badges that deputized people? He made $75,000. Oh, guess what? He's white. He gets pardoned. This is a trend, people. Why are we not surprised? He did it right to black people, the Central Park 5, having dinner with white nationalists. Elon Musk is doing the Nazi salute. This is who he is. Very fine people on both sides. The dude's a straight up white supremacist. Let's be real. It's called the White House for a reason. And that's what she is. She's simping to her orange daddy. That's why we're here, America. It's just gross. And we're just watching it happen. And I give the media just as much a complicity in this as us. Because they're all getting stuck in the weeds. Oh, it's the tariffs. More taxes. Less taxes. Oh, Joe Biden's old. Look at Jake Tapper. Let's go on Jake Tapper really quick because it's Friday. I'm feeling a little punchy. Why did he whore himself out for a couple of bucks, by the way, Jake Tapper? Why aren't you calling out the fascists? Why didn't you, if you knew this, why didn't you report on it a couple years ago? Because you're just like everybody else. You hoard yourself out for capitalism. You wanted to make some money on a story by a bunch of anonymous sources, and now you want to make some money. Yeah, it looks like your ratings are really reflecting that really well, Jake Tapper. I hope your show gets dropped because you're doing this country a grave disservice by doing that. If you wanted to report the news, you should have reported the news when it was the news, not when it was financially beneficial for you to do it. All right. Let's get that next clip on there, buddy, if we're ready. And then we'll talk on the other side here.
Shut up. Just shut up.
No, you don't.
Shut
No, you're
up.
not going to tell me to shut up.
Let's.
How do you get him in order? You're running for this.
Not like that.
He has been out of order 6 times. He's trying to get on MSNBC. You probably knocked
I get it.
somebody off
I don't have any problem
MSNBC
getting
to get on there.
MSNBC.
Miss
That's
Green,
Because he's been elected as a
recognized.
former
Yeah, well,
Antifa
okay,
member,
here,
right?
back to order, Miss Green. Go.
He's a
go.
former Antifa
Miss
member,
Green,
Mr.
you're
Chairman.
recognized. You got
no
it.
surprise.
Who's a former
Yours.
Antifa member? Me?
Yeah, you.
I asked that these words be taken down.
No, Miss Green,
Thank you.
you're
I
recognized.
asked that
Thank
these
you,
words
Mr.
be taken
Chairman.
down.
There's a motion.
Governor
Miss Green
Hochul.
is
Okay. Let's take a step back for a second. Let's put this into perspective, okay? These people were elected into office to serve the American people, to make your life better, to make my life better, everyone's life better. Nunchuck's, Brian Shapiro's life better. What are we doing? We're renaming the Gulf of Mexico. You have congressmen that want to rename airports after their orange daddy. We're talking about going after 12 trans people. out of 500,000 college athletes because it strikes fear into their uneducated white base. We have 36.8 million people that are living in poverty in this great country. 14 million children go to school hungry every day. We have 700,000 to 800,000 people or something like that, the last time, that are homeless. We have places like Walmart, the largest employer, that the CEO makes 495 goddamn times the median income of about $30,500. Think about that. That's grotesque. And then they get bonuses. Why are none of these issues being addressed? Because of stupid shit like this. You're dumb. No, I'm dead. You're part of Antifa. No, you're DEI. Oh, you're here because of CRT. No, you're dumb. Like, this is what we are. This is every other country sees how pathetic this is. This isn't working for the American people. This is a joke. On my way here today, the taxi driver said the same thing. You know what he said? He doesn't know about politics. He doesn't even know about Eric Swalwell. And you know what? That's okay. You know what he cared about? The price of housing. He said, Paul, how do we get the price of housing to go down? It's so expensive. I can't afford to live here. I can't buy a house. He's like, how do we fix that? That's what people wanted. That's what people need. We live in a social contract in this country. We agree to pay our taxes. We agree to follow the laws, the Constitution, to go to school, to get our vaccines, wear seatbelts, yada, yada, yada. The other half of the contract is for the government to use our tax dollars to make our lives better, to get people a living wage. And right now, they've broken it. Congress is completely inept right now. They're supposed to be the checks and balances, and they're not. You're talking about withholding FEMA money. You're talking about disbanding the Department of Education. There are kids with autism right now. Autism that aren't getting the help that they need because the Department of Education has been abolished. The states don't have enough money. The states can't even pay their teachers a living wage. Where in the hell are they supposed to get money to pay for kids with autism? You think that's like $3 an hour? That's not cheap. And none of these issues are being addressed because of this. Because we have a president in his first 100 days who sits on his fat ass and golfs, who spent $30 million of your money, $20 million going to a Super Bowl, $5 million going to NASCAR, another $5 million going to UFC. He's hosting private dinners at $100,000 a pop. He's selling merchandise in his stores, you know, because a billionaire needs to sell $20 hats. That makes a lot of sense. He's having crypto bros spending $150K on the front lawn of the White House. But, you know, that's only personal. It's not business. I guess this is what we're doing here, right? And y'all just want to own the libs. We're not a serious country right now. We need people that are going to help. And this level of stupidity and childishness, I don't care if you're a left or the right side. I don't care. It's childish. And it doesn't fix the problems with this country. And obviously, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a whole other conversation. I could do 3 hours on her, but don't kid yourself, people. She will be reelected in the midterms. Don't get any fantasies that somebody's going to come in there. Her base wants white supremacist ignorance like her. They want culture wars. They want to vote based on their feelings. All right, what's our next clip here? Is it the ice? All right, let's do this really quick. Let's do one more clip, and then we'll take a break, and we'll start getting into some of the callers pretty soon.
From what I saw, he had been sitting already in our parking lot. We started confronting them, asking them to identify themselves. They refused to. They kept asking us to step back and telling us that we couldn't be there. This will stand in my mind where we said we don't want this in our property. This gentleman just shouted the whole country is our property.
I want to emphasize I am a mother, a first-generation daughter of immigrants myself. Who knows if this man was a citizen? They were not letting him answer any question, provide any identification. They surrounded him and started to just get ready to grab him. I have the right to be here. I do not have to listen to you. This is the property of the church. This is Downey Memorial Christian Church, and we are not okay with you being on our property. Yeah, and we're told this happened this afternoon between 12:30 and 12:40 in the parking lot, as you heard, Downey Memorial Christian Church. Watch this video where senior pastor Tanya Lopez says the armed agents were dressed in plain clothes. She asked for their names and badge numbers to make sure that they were legitimate. She says they wouldn't provide that information and told her to stand back. But it's not entirely clear if these were federal agents because the church administrators say that the vests on these members of law enforcement only said police. Oh, you're from Texas! You came all the way out here from Texas, huh?
Now, I want to go back to when I first spoke when I started the show today. My friend said, I'm not willing to protest and strike for a 9-month-old pregnant immigrant because I don't want to jeopardize my way of life. You know, when I started doing my videos on TikTok, I just made it because I felt like I didn't know what it looked like, but I felt like somebody had to say something. And, you know, we have people that are being snatched off the streets with masks on, unmarked cars that aren't identify themselves. For all I know, they're undocumented immigrants. For all I know, they're people from January 6th that were pardoned. They could be the Proud Boys. They could be the 3%ers. They could be convicted felons. How in the hell do we know that? This is fascism, people. We're not even the greatest country in North America. And for all of you wannabe fake patriots, we're not. See, the problem with you fake patriots that have pet bald eagles and eat your freedom Wheaties and you have Trump's face spray painted on your genitals is because you care more about the flag and what it symbolizes than the people that the flag represents. That's real patriotism. That's being a good American. I care about those people. I care about the pregnant woman. You don't think that I have a job too, that people are watching this? You don't think that I have family? I don't care because this is doing the right thing. The reason we're here is because too many people have sat out this fight because it didn't affect them. That is the very definition of white privilege. Now, if we want to fix it, it's going to have to be more people that's not affected. It has to be about being a neighbor. I'm a person of faith. We're supposed to love thy neighbor. Those people are my neighbors. You're my neighbors. My friend that I'm talking to that I disagree with, she's my neighbor. Now, she's not going to do the strike and protest with me. You know what? That's okay. But I'm still doing this for her and her family because that's who I am. That's what being a good person is. That's what being a giving a crap about people is. It's about caring about something that doesn't affect you. In the last election, I knew that my taxes would go up. But I voted for women's rights, for gay rights, for trans rights, for just being a damn person of decency. I voted for people to get loans to start a business, to help with their student loans, to help small businesses start up, to give people child tax credits, to tax the rich, to reverse Citizens United. Many of those things that I voted for didn't affect me, but I'm not a selfish prick. That's what being a person of faith is. Don't tell me you're a Christian. Go act like one. Care about other people other than yourself. That's what this is supposed to be about. And until we start doing that, we're not going to fix the problems in this country. All right. One more clip. Yeah, let's do the one more clip and then we'll take a break. This one is kind of heartbreaking. But let me preface this really quick before we play it. This was a video from a gentleman that served the soldiers in Afghanistan for 3 years. And he was brought over here, given an amnesty because he helped us. And we knew that if he went back to his home country, it wouldn't end well for him. So let's play that clip and talk on the other side.
What's your name? What's your name?
You don't have his name. You're not entitled to his name. I work with the U.S. military back in my home country. I have all the documents. I didn't have a credible field interview. I work with the U.S. military. I was interpreter. I work with the U.S. military.
Do you have a warrant for his arrest?
Yes, we do. Provide the warrant. Provide the warrant. I work with the U.S. military. Just tell to them.
You can come with us, sir. You can
Provide the
come
warrant.
You can come with us.
You don't have a warrant. I work with the U.S. military back in my home country, Afghanistan. This is my warrant.
Yes, I'll show it to you in the elevator.
Or you can show it now, make sure.
No.
Because I've seen you cuff the wrong people.
Did you back up, please?
Pretty embarrassing.
I say like more than 3 years I worked with the U.S. military back in my home country. So I came here
Back up.
Thank you for your service.
to make a
That's disgusting. And it's gross. It is truly despicable. That man probably has a family and a wife. He served the United States interests. He translated for us in Afghanistan for 3 goddamn years. He came over here, and this is how we're treating him. Pro-life, right, evangelicals? Pro-life, the hell you are. It's despicable. And you're fine with it. You know why? Because he's not the right color for you. It's disgusting, people. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. This is white supremacy. And it's full-blown. They took off their white hoods and they put on a red hat. Their orange daddy said, you know what? You don't have to be afraid to be a racist anymore. Show them your face. I will protect you. And if you commit a crime, if you beat officers, I'll pardon you. And then I'll call you a hero. I'll give you a purple star, and I'll have you speak at the White House, and I'll give you a tour, and I'll let you sleep at my house in Mar-a-Lago. But if you're a brown person that helped the country, I'm going to shackle you up, zip tie your kids, and put you on a DC airplane because I need to feel like a real man because I'm a selfish little bitch. It's gross. It is disgusting. And if your comment is, and I'm going to challenge you, oh, Paul, I can't stand up for him because of my freedoms. What about his freedom? What about women that have sepsis rates in Texas? What about Adriana Smith? What about them? What about Breonna Taylor, who lost her life because of the draconian abortion bans? You think it's right that Texas has the 10 Commandments? I'm a person of faith. I have no right to push my faith on anybody else. It's wrong. You got Bibles in Tennessee. It's unacceptable. We have to start fighting for each other. And if the government isn't going to do it, if our elected officials aren't going to do it, then we have to do it ourselves. Now, we're going to take a quick break. Before we do that, I thought my name was up here and it's not. So my name is Paul Lance. I will comment in the chat. You can follow me. I'm on a TikTok and YouTube. Paul Lance, or I think it's Paul for Equality is my platform if you want to follow me. Again, because of how I grew up, the way that my dad was to me, I made it a purpose in my life that I would stand up for people that couldn't stand up for themselves. A lot of people want to run away from the bear. Because of how I grew up, I'm wired a little differently. I want to run towards it. I want to protect the people that the bear is going after. That's just how I am. And I understand not everyone's like me. But there has to be more people like me that are going to stand up for people that are going to get hurt during this time. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country left. If we're not doing that, then why the hell do we even have this country to begin with if we're not going to look after each other? So anyway, in just a second, we're going to take a quick break. Numchuck's just taking in some calls. Yes, I will, in the chat here, I will chat so you can follow me. If you want in the chat, we ready for a break, buddy? All right, we're going to take a quick 90-second break, and we'll be back on the other side, and we will take some calls on a Friday.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy to be in touch and figure out what you're looking for and how I can support you in getting there.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part, every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call, 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYou101.com.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Clear Sky Resorts invites you to experience the future of luxury glamping at their newest resort, opening August 1st, 2024 near Bryce Canyon. Guests at the first and only glass-domed stargazing resort in the U.S. will be immersed in the stunning scenery of the resort's private 80-acre canyon, both indoors and out. And nights in your sky dome will be like sleeping in an aquarium of stars. Located in Cannonville, Utah, on scenic Byway 12, voted one of the most scenic roads in America, the resort will feature lots of fun on-resort activities, as well as one of the world's largest glass-domed restaurants. To book your reservation, please call 1-888-704-4445 or visit clearskyresorts.com.
We are back. Obviously, there's nothing going on. Again, my name is Paul Lance. My handle on YouTube is Paul for Equality if you want to follow me. Brian Shapiro is sitting on JD Vance's couch on a beach, getting a suntan. And Numchuck here said that he's going to put the lotion on when he gets back in the office. I am his number one fan. Now, I don't know what that means, what finger that is, but I'm sure it has some significance. So let's get into it. Let's go to Rob. Number one. Rob, how are you, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Good, man. It's Friday. What is on your mind today?
Yeah, so I just wanted to respond to what you were saying about immigration.
Mm-hmm.
So is there an amount of illegal immigration or like an amount of illegal people who would be living in the country where you'd say I would say it's a national security issue, but where you would just say it's too much when you think something about it?
Well, a couple things. Whose land was this that we're sitting on right now? Is it our land or was it the Native Americans?
It's ours. We conquered it.
Oh, we conquered it. Did Mexico own the land all the way up to Utah?
I couldn't give you the specifics, but likewise from.
Oh, I thought we were talking about illegal immigration. I mean, because basically Americans illegally immigrated here and murdered people and stole their land. I just thought we should have a historical conversation and then get into the Hawaiians and how we stole black people from Africa. Here's the problem, right? How many people, did you know that 93% of crimes committed in this country, 93% are committed by young white men, U.S. citizens between the ages of 17 and 25? Well, let's talk about that. Why do you think that is, sir?
Because most of the people who live in this country are white. That's why.
Okay. So what's your solution to solving the white crime problem in this country? Young men, 93%, by a large margin, it's men, not women. And yet we never vote for a woman because they're too emotional. Yet 93% of gun violence is committed by white men, U.S. citizens. And your question is, what are we going to do about the brown people in the country because it's a crime? Is that what you're saying, sir?
No, you were talking about illegal immigration before, so that's why I brought it up. If you want to talk about something else, we can. But I asked you a question and you just pivoted.
Well, this is my problem with what's going on with immigration. Okay, the person that's doing this, the people that voted for him. I'm assuming you voted for Trump, right?
Yes, sir.
Of course you did. So you voted for a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist, the guy who led to the death of Officer Sitnik and long-term disabilities for other officers, a guy that can't even keep his marriage vows, and you call it on the show, and your comment is, what are we going to do about the brown people whose documentation isn't right? Do you see how that's not a serious conversation, sir?
Yeah, it is, because we're not talking about Trump's personal life. We're talking about the country.
Oh.
Yeah.
So morality doesn't matter. As long as you give me cheaper taxes and you demonize the brown people, I'll vote for you.
What are you talking? I never said
he's
anything
a
about
rapist,
taxes.
sir. Why wasn't rape a red line for you?
One more time, sorry.
Why wasn't rape a red line for you? I want to know. Let's talk about it.
So I've actually talked about this on this show before.
Tell me.
As far as I'm convinced, I haven't been convinced that Trump is.
You haven't been convinced that a court of law by a jury of his peers, you're not convinced. But the brown people are the criminals in this country. January 6th was peaceful, right, sir? It was Antifa. Was it George Soros? Was it the deep state, sir? Which one was it? Which card are we going to use today? Pick one. Go ahead. Use the white victim card, sir. Which victim card do you want to use?
What are you talking about? It was the people. It was the people protesting who went in.
Yeah, and Donald Trump pardoned 1,500 people that beat police officers and murdered one of them. And you're fine with that, right?
I just want to get your position straight. So because
the position is that you care about the brown people. Give me the names. Let's talk about that. Give me the names of 20 undocumented immigrants that have murdered U.S. citizens. Go. That's a fair question. Go ahead.
Do you really expect me to have 20 undocumented citizens?
You're saying, sir, in all fairness, you made a claim, and you're saying that there's this horrible thing happening. It's a national security thing. And all I did was say, sir, give me the names of 20 immigrants that are undocumented that have murdered people. And your response is, I don't have that information. I just know that my orange daddy told me it's true, so it must be true.
Dude, I can't name 20. If you asked me to name 20 people of virtually any group of people at all, I couldn't give you 20 names off the top of my head.
Give me the names of. Give me the names of 20 schools in the United States that teach CRT and grades K through 12. Go.
I mean, the one I did, I'm not going to dox myself, but the one I did definitely did. I mean, if you're just talking about schools that teach people that white privilege is a bad thing and stuff like that, I'm sure there's more than 20 of them.
So you're a racist, right? That's what you are. You're a white supremacist. Just say it.
No,
you're not.
I think white people doing well isn't a problem, and I don't really see how that is logical. That
do you want to make? Do you want to make America great again, sir?
What's up?
Do you want to make America great again?
I want to make America great. I mean, again, is a subjective word. I want it to be great. Yeah.
Why is again a subjective word? I thought make America great again was the whole thing. What year was it great? Just give me a year. Let's talk about it. What year was America
great? Every year that it's been around, it's been great. It's the greatest country on earth.
Really? So you think that black people that couldn't sit on a bus, that was great for them?
No, and we changed that because it was leading to social problems.
200 years after we started this country, we allowed black people to sit on a bus. Wow, that's really nice of us, sir. Wow. When did women have the right to have credit and vote? What year? 1919?
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened in the first place. But
it shouldn't have happened in the first place. So whatever. Let's not talk. Let's talk about the 3/5 clause, sir. What do you think about the 3/5 clause?
It's an antiquated thing that we don't follow anymore. That's what I think about.
What do you think about the founding fathers?
What about them?
They owned slaves like they were cattle. What do you think about them? Are they heroes or are they racist plantation owners?
I think Alexander Hamilton was a good guy. I think George Washington was a good guy. I can't give you all the founding fathers off the top of my head, but
who were the
yeah,
only
there was some good
people? So these founding fathers, who were the only people that this country was designed to benefit? There was one group, and what was that one very narrow racist group, sir? Who was it?
Who is the group that this country was designed to benefit? Is that what you're asking?
It's a very simple question, sir. Who is the group that this country was designed to benefit?
This country was founded by and for the benefit of
21-year-old land-owning white men. That's the answer to your sentence. Why is that? If it's a great country, sir. Because it's see, this is why it's hard to have conversations with you, people like you, because you don't want to accept what this history is. You want to say, yeah, we weren't perfect, but that is the very definition of white privilege. If you were black, sir, I guarantee you that if your great-great-grandparents were picking cotton, your version of America, your perception would be different. You don't want to take 2 minutes to look at it through the shoes of somebody else that doesn't look like me. That's why we're here, sir. And that's why people like me have to have conversations with people like you, because you refuse to accept that this isn't a great country for everybody.
So I just want to clarify your position. So because of the history of racism and slavery, which I never said didn't happen, by the way, but because of all that, and because of segregation and Jim Crow and people getting discriminated against and all, because of that, we can't enforce policies to make our country better. Like I'm curious what the point of bringing all that up is.
Because you still can't say that this country's never been great for everybody. Say it then. Just say it. If you're
you can have a great country.
No, you can't. No. You have a great country for white people. You have a great white country. And that's the problem. You can't even say that this country hasn't been great for everybody. That's the problem, sir. You can't even say those words, and I can. All right?
I mean, I just admitted slavery was a bad thing, so I'm not really sure
it was
where
a
you're getting
bad
it from.
thing. They fed people to alligators, sir. They kept them separated from their families. They couldn't sit on a bus. They lynched them. It's a bad thing is one of the most grossest understatements of things I've ever heard in my entire life. It was a bad thing. That's literally the very definition of white privilege, sir. It's a bad thing. Wow. The Niners losing the Super Bowl was a bad thing. What happened to black people was an atrocity. It's a bad thing. All right. Thanks for the call, sir.
Well,
Let's go to someone else. I can't do this anymore. Look, I'll have a conversation with anybody, but the reality is this country has never been great for everybody that doesn't look like me. Let's just be real. And until we fundamentally address it as a country, we're going to be stuck with people like him. He wants to hear white history, whatever benefits him, screw everybody else. Let's go to David. David, how are you doing, buddy?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, by the way.
Yeah, man.
You can't learn history and go to school and be a hypocrite at the same time. You either believe it in history that you learned at school, or you just don't. And I agree with you. I totally agree. I like when you said you're definitely a fresh of breath air, because you said that I don't feel that this is America. We'll never be America because of this crap that's going on.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Can I push back on you for 1 second? I actually think, I'm going to say this, I mean this in a respectful, I actually think you're wrong. I think what we do, and I've done this myself, we say that that's not America, but it actually is what America is. I think that for too long, we've actually just put our heads up our behinds, and we've refused to accept what it is. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, that's right. But I'm just saying, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I just think the other guy was just totally a hypocrite. I just, for one thing, I just think, like the president, okay? I totally agree. I was brought up in a bad, family. My dad was a bad father, just like your family.
Yeah.
Like you. Okay, but you know what he did to my middle brother when he did something wrong? He took his hand, turned on the stove, and burned his hand.
Ugh.
That's exactly what he did. Yes.
My dad, when my brother would eat at the table and he would open up his mouth, he would literally stab him with a fork in his hand when he would open up his mouth. That was my childhood.
Yeah. Well, he would also hit, his kids you know, with a can of spray or some kind of a spray can. He would hit him in the head, and then he would bleed. You know, with my older brother. But we had 3 kids.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, my mom sat there and realized what this president is and what the father is that does this kind of crap. Well, I have the answer for you people that voted for this guy. What he is, just like my father and what my mom said, he's a masochist. A masochist is a person that basically inflicts pain, you know, or suffering on others, or basically derives pleasure from experienced pain or suffering themselves.
Yes.
So that guy, just like this president, and not many people use this word, he's a masochist, folks. That's what he is.
He is.
And start using that word because he's inflicting pain on people.
Yeah.
Just like the tariff. The price is going up. He's inflicting pain on that. Just like, you know, sending the people and capturing, you know, who are growing crops, like farmers. They're going after and sending the immigration people and start chasing them, you know, and now what's going to happen, people? What's going to happen to your fruits and vegetables that are not going to be picked anymore? People are not going to go out and pick those crops anymore. They're going to stay home because they're not going to risk their lives on immigration on ice to be caught. And now your fruits and vegetables are going to be expensive. And yes, you voted for this guy. He's a masochist. He's inflicting pain on everything that he does. That's what he is. I wish we used that word more and more on your radio show.
Well, it's not mine, it's Brian's. I'm just filling in for him because he's on JD's couch on the beach, so getting a suntan. But no, you're not
that's
wrong.
What he is.
He's a narcissist. And I mean, the sad reality is that this country, the guy that called, they will never, ever, ever vote for a woman. So let me ask you a quick question, then I got to get to another caller. Why do you think, sir, that after 249 years, while 50% of this country are women, we've never had a woman if we're not a misogynist, if we're great for everybody? Why is that?
Look, I vote. I'm an independent. I voted.
Not
for
you.
it.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general. Why has the country never voted for a woman, even though half of our population are women? If it's
well,
the
you know,
most
to be
qualified
honest,
person.
some of these. Well, because a lot of these people are chauvinist pig. They don't want a woman in the office. You know what I'm saying? They're a chauvinist pig, and a lot of these guys don't have the balls. You know, they don't have the kahunas. You know, their jockstrap to vote for a woman, just like they were trying to vote for when Clinton. Remember, Clinton was trying to run against Trump the first time. You know, they couldn't basically. They can't. They basically can't. You know, put their bootstrap and be a man. You know, to have look at the England, the Prince of England or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
You know, Queen Elizabeth.
Yep.
How come they got her? She's a woman, right? Okay. Why can't we have a woman? Why are you afraid? I think a lot of men are chauvinist pig because they don't want to be confronted by a woman, and that's why these men don't have the balls, and they're all old trolls in the White House. You know, that's all they are, a bunch of old trolls.
Yep. All right, my buddy. Thanks for the call there. Have a great weekend, dude. All right, let's go to Terry. Is it Terry? I can't see the last. I think it's Terry. Terry, how are you today?
You did a great job. I'm fine, thanks. You did a great job of taking Rob down. And, you know, Rob, if you're listening, please bring facts with you the next time, because you apparently couldn't find any that you were trying to, you know, you're trying to press on Paul, but you didn't have any information. Couple things. Paul, I want to mention is let's go to Donald Trump not knowing exactly what the word asylum means. There's actually 2 different definitions for that, and apparently he doesn't seem to know either one of them. He always thought it was mentally insane people coming into our country, but actually they're refugees.
Well, I would say the mentally insane person is actually occupying 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Correct.
That's what I would suggest,
The second thing is, I'm a 69-year-old woman, and I am not afraid of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I am not afraid to go out and protest. We have a moral responsibility to use our voices for those who can't. Paul, I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. Did
you? You actually are the example of a good humanitarian.
I'm trying.
And we owe it to our brothers and sisters to get out there. I'm going to the protest tomorrow. I'm actually speaking there.
Really?
So, thank you for bringing that forth.
Can I ask you a
And
question about? Did you?
yeah,
Were you
sure.
here when the show first started? Did you hear my story about my friend?
Yes, yes.
How do everybody listen? Two things. Everybody has the right to choose what they want to do. I get that. But my concern is this, that I'm afraid that there's too many people that are still saying, oh, it doesn't affect me. I'm not going to jeopardize this. And look, I understand that financially, a lot of people can't go on a general strike. I get it. But I would push back a little bit. The fact is that many people can't go on a strike is exactly why we need to, because not enough people have wealth in this country. And if we don't do something and we wait until it affects us, what we think we have, our privilege right now, it's going to go away in 6 months because, like Michelle Obama said, if you think the darkness won't come over your front door, you're sadly mistaken. Am I off base there?
No, you are not. You are absolutely true. And I have said, I made a deal with myself. I will take my last breath, if that's what it takes, to get out there and this has got to end. This is just insane.
This is what I guess, because I'm a person of faith myself, and I don't care if anybody's atheist. I don't care. Live your life the way you want. I left the Republican Party because it became a cult. It basically capitulated its morality for their orange Jesus, for a cult of personality. I don't understand how you're going to call yourself a person, not you, these MAGA Pharisees, go there and praise Jesus, but they'll demonize immigrants. They'll put Adriana Smith on a ventilator. They'll support and cheer on a guy who abuses women, who's a convicted felon. They'll cheer on the January 6 people who believe police officers, and women in Texas have an increased sepsis rate of 50%. It seems really pro-life to me. I have no idea what these people think they are. What kind of Christianity do they have when it's own the libs, own the libs, own the libs? How do they justify this?
That is a good question. I don't understand any of it. I just know I'm also a person of faith, but I am sick and tired of them weaponizing religion, including Jesus. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. Have a good day. Good talking to you. The number, and I forgot to repeat it. See, I'm an amateur. I'm a rookie on the radio show. It is 702-221-7283. I'm going to say it one more time because we like repetition. You see what I did there? It was that's a mental thing. 702-221-7283. Peter is next. Peter, how are you?
Hey, Paul. I'm well. How are you?
It's Friday, man. I get to go home today. Woohoo!
Great.
Brian's going to release me from captivity.
Well, great job this week. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, man.
I just wanted to comment on your question that you had regarding, why has there never been a woman to run the country? A woman at the head of the White House, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to speak for everybody. I never do that, but I've been working in the automotive industry for 15 plus years, and I've always felt that this industry is just behind every other industry for some reason or another by 5-10 years, whatever, whether it's, marketing, technology, services that are offered. I've just always felt that it's behind. And I don't know, speaking to the VP of the company that I'm working with now, still in the automotive industry, she happens to be a woman, and she kind of asked me why my thoughts were that. And I feel like it's because it's predominantly run by men. Men are always at the top. They're always the manager, the owner, the CEO, whatever it is. It's always run by men. So I don't know, maybe there's some kind of correlation between that, and I'm sure there are people out there that agree or disagree, and I'm not saying it's a blanket statement, but it's just my personal experience and my kind of opinion and view of that.
Yeah, I believe you can't argue with facts. 249 years, and we've never had a woman. There's obviously some misogyny there, and I think one of the things that I talk about a lot on my TikTok channel is this toxic masculinity. Right? There's this. Oh, we train on the surface of the sun, and I go out and I take down bears with my bare hands, and I bite the head off an eagle, and I could do 400 million push-ups, and it's this weird, twisted form of and I believe a lot of this starts in like Little League, right? You see the dads yelling at the umpires, "Oh, he's not out, he's not out, he's safe." And what we do a really poor job of as a society is teaching our children how to fail. We do a piss poor job of teaching our kids how to fail. And what we do by doing that, and tell me if I'm wrong, is we basically say, if you don't finish first, you're basically a loser and nobody wants to be around you. And then they get angry and they don't know how to handle it.
Yep. Ricky Bobby. Yep.
Yep. So, all right, buddy.
I appreciate you.
All right, man. Hey, real quick before the next caller. So just to add on to his call really quick, a quick story that I think I might have told yesterday, but a lot of people weren't listening. So a quick story about my kid. He had a knee injury and he got hurt and he didn't make the team about a year ago because he didn't have time to get back in shape, right? And when he got cut from the team, I sat in the car with him and I knew he loves to play baseball. Loves it. It's his passion. And he said, you know what? I said, is this the end or do you want to keep trying? It's like, no, I'm playing next year. He went out. He worked twice as hard. He played. He was the DH. He was one of the best pitchers on the team. And he got the most improved player. And do you know why he did that? Because as a dad, I embedded in him that winning wasn't the only measure of success. So that's what I want my kids to do. I don't know what his baseball career is going to be. I don't know if he's going to play. Maybe he'll be a Hall of Famer. Maybe he'll play in college. Maybe he won't play after high school. It's his journey. But as a dad, my job is to teach my kid how to work hard. And at the end of the year, I only sent one email to his coach. And I said, I don't care where he plays. I don't care if he bats. I care about one thing. Was my kid the hardest worker on your team? And he said, yes. As a dad, that is the level of success. The winning and everything else, that'll work itself out over time. All right, who's next? Is it Mark? You are next with Paul Lance identifying as Brian Shapiro on a Friday.
Hello, Paul. Happy Friday to you, but it's Friday for me every day, or Saturday, I should say.
Are you retired?
Retired here. Yes, I am.
Oh, man, I'm jealous.
Well, I work my butt off. Military and the EMT, and I work my butt off. I earned this.
Good for you, sir. You picked yourself up by the bootstraps.
Let me first mention to one of the callers that mentioned this is not America, and you so rightly stated, Paul, that this is America. Exactly, 100%. This has been America for decades and decades and decades. It's just more out in the open now. Mm-hmm. That's the only difference. And more people are more able to or feel like they can say what they want to say because of that orange piece of garbage in the White House. Mm-hmm. Now, you may not like this, but I am not going to donate another dime to the Democrats. I am not going to go on any protests with the Democrats. Mm-hmm. And I really don't think I am going to vote anymore. And I never missed an election. I really don't think I am going to vote. And the one reason is because when I went to the Veterans protest, mm-hmm. the Veterans March, I am a little over 3 hours each way to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And by the time I got to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania already, with two of my veteran friends that went with me, Chuck Schumer had bowed to Donald Trump. If you remember when he allowed that thing to pass.
I do. Can I comment on that really quick?
We all looked at each other, Paul.
I know.
We all looked at each other, Paul, and said, we were just shell-shocked.
So,
and we turned the car around and went home.
Okay, so I'm not sure why you wouldn't. I actually agree with you 100%. I'm not a Democrat, by the way. I'm an independent. I'm just like Brian. I don't.
And I don't know why people have to state that. Well, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a liberal. I'm independent. I was a proud Democrat.
Yeah, no, I think because I talk about social issues, because I actually care about people. I'm evidently a radical left socialist liberal that's paid for by George Soros. So let me. This is how I see where we are, and I know that my conversations are anecdotal when I go on TikTok. Here's the thing: the Republican Party is now it's a religious cult of personality, right? It's own the libs.
It's a Jim Jones cult. That's what it is.
Hold on, let me land my plane here. Hold on, give me a second.
Sure.
That party's gone. It is now basically, we're going to hold on to the white patriarchy, and it's up to everyone else to fight against it. Now, on the left, there are some good people, and I was supposed to interview Swalwell. I like Eric Swalwell. I like Jasmine Crockett. There's not enough of them, right? Let's look what the Democrats did. All 50 of them voted for Marco Rubio, the traitor who sides with Vladimir Putin. 10 of them voted for dissenter Al Green, the one guy who had the balls to stand up. They voted against him. 10 of them voted with the dinosaur Chuck Schumer to pass the CR. Then you have Booker does this great thing, 26 hours. And what does he do?
Right.
Falls on his face, votes for Charles Kushner because he probably gives him money. A man found guilty of witness tampering. You and I talk to a lot of people like this, and I'm talking drivers that I don't even know their affiliation, people on TikTok, people on YouTube, people in my own life. My buddy Andy up in Oregon, who served, thank you, sir, for your service. I don't know if he's left or right, but he's like, I want a third party. And you know what? This is what I think. 90 million people didn't vote in the last election. We have issues like women's rights. Minimum wage hasn't been raised. We still have kids going to school doing gun violence. We have congressmen that are profiting off of 401ks. We have immigration system that needs to be repaired. We have universal health care that's not taken care of. We have a president in there. We have a lot of serious things that are not getting addressed every day. We haven't raised minimum wage in 16 years. I believe that fundamentally, the system itself is broken. And I think if we limp along and we keep going to Team Red and Team Blue year after year after year, then we're contributing in the process. Now, we might sit here and complain about the people that we elect, right? Oh, I can't believe you did that. Did you vote for him? Yeah, because I couldn't vote for a Republican. So we have to decide. We have to take some personal responsibility for the system that we voted for and that we continue to put in place. We cannot blame the people that we went to the voting booth for. We have to take ownership. So what we have to do, and I'm going to say what I said yesterday, is you go on a general strike and you shut the whole thing down until the system works for the people. I'm so tired of people living paycheck to paycheck, working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, never being able to have a house, having to have Medicare and Medicaid, having no personal freedom, living to work until they die, and living in the Hunger Games. I'm sick and tired of it. And I think most Americans are getting to that point.
Let me get out my point.
Yep.
First of all, we're dealing with some of the most uneducated people, a majority.
Yes.
I'm not talking about book smart. I'm talking about common sense. A majority of Americans are ignorant when it comes to common sense. Yep. And a majority of Americans are swayed by no matter who they believe in, no matter what they say, I'm going to follow that person.
Well, let me push back just a little bit, because I think. Go ahead. No, I want to push back before I forget.
I want to get my last point out.
Go ahead, sir.
I believe that the party that can lose to the Republicans, if there is midterms, because right now I don't believe there are going to be midterms or a presidential election.
I agree.
But if there are, the Democrats are the party that can actually lose everything to the Republicans. They are the weakest party I have ever seen in my entire life. And I'm 67 years old.
Yep.
And I have not seen a weaker group of people.
Yep.
Chuck Schumer bows to Trump and says, well, I had no other choice. Screw you.
Yep.
Shut the government down and shove it up his butt.
That's
agree. What you do.
So this is how I'm built. Okay. I made a video today and I sent it to Eric Swalwell, and I'm going to send it to Jim McGovern, because I was supposed to interview McGovern, but there was a vote yesterday and they couldn't do it. We need somebody. This is just me. I'm going to speak for myself. I think that we all have a talent. You agree. We all have strengths and weaknesses. For whatever reason, I'm here talking to you. 2 years ago, I would have never thought I would be doing this. I would think you're crazy. There's no way I'm going to be hosting a radio show or being a content creator with like 82,000 followers on TikTok. If the Democrats want Swalwell, McGovern, Booker, Jeffries, you want somebody, you want to fight, then reach out to me. I'll debate you any day of the week.
No,
Sunday,
you know how they reach out to you, Paul?
Through my website.
I keep getting emails. Send me money. Send me money. Send me money.
Don't.
Screw you. You're not getting a dime.
I agree. I don't disagree with you at all. 100%. All right, buddy.
All right, Paul.
All right, buddy. Have a good weekend. Keep your head up, man. We're going to get through this. I'm fighting for you every day. I know it's not pretty right now, but don't let them take away your joy. Okay, that's what they want. Don't lose that.
Okay, Paul. Have a great weekend.
All right, buddy. Later. All right. Who's next? Who's been on? Let's go to Carlos. Carlos, how are you?
Hello.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. So, this is going to surprise you, but I am a Latino and I am a proud Trump voter and supporter.
Okay.
Good. I voted for him in November election, and I think he's done a good job so far, especially with immigration. And I find it insane. All these people going to protests in California, having Trump having to send the military on them. Why do you care about these illegals and all this discussion? This discussion about due process and even habeas corpus, but American citizens will not be affected. This is all for the illegals, and this has been a long time coming.
Oh, wow.
And I, as an immigrant who came to this country legally, I am tired of these immigrants, of these illegals.
I
am so tired of them taking jobs. I'm tired of them using taxpayer funds, welfare.
Okay.
Some of them they're illegal.
Sir. I got it. What did you have for dinner last night, sir?
For dinner?
Yeah, nobody cares. I don't have time for that. Listen, I'm going to say something that I personally believe, and I cannot say that this is my opinion. Okay. I believe that a lot of people in different communities that don't look like me, this is, again, my opinion. I believe every day they go out to the mailbox and they think that the white membership card is going to be out there. That if they serve the plantation owner, that somehow, some way, they're going to be part of the white club. I believe that. I really do. I've seen a lot of it. And there's also a lot of content creators that come on here and they know exactly what they're doing and they pretend to be Republicans. And you know damn well that they don't believe what they're saying. They absolutely don't. It is a troll. They are doing it for money. So, yes, he does not. It was a troll. So, who was next here? Let's go to Kim. Kim, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can. It's nice to talk to you.
Hi. Well, I'm in Dallas, and I want to let you know you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our little protest Tuesday night was nothing like Chicago or the other cities. Now, today, I was very happy to see that a lot of the Latino and Hispanic community, their leaders in different groups, were able to go to Dallas City Hall, and they actually had a public speech, if you will, and they just wanted to remind everybody, again, be peaceful, right?
Yeah.
But the passion, the strength, I think only one councilman, and he did English and Spanish. So a lot of the people who were able to speak dual language, they did. So it was encouraging, to see for Dallas, because Greg Abhole is
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels Abbott. He's going to go. I'm sure he's going to have people in Dallas tomorrow. He's going to have people in San Antonio, Houston, probably. And no telling where else, but obviously, he can control his little city,
I agree
right?
with you. You know what I really liked, and I'm not sure if you heard me. I went to that protest in Las Vegas. I can't even tell you how nice they were, how friendly they were. They invited me to like a carne asada cookout.
Yeah.
They looked at me, and it was weird. I had one guy ask me, he's like, "What side are you on?" Because I was white, and and I don't blame him for that, but I think. What has to happen is that more people, I don't know what national, but for me, I wanted to go there because they're my people. They're my neighbors. I don't know them, but they're good people.
Right.
And the one flag that I saw that I really liked, and I got to tell you, they were standing on the seats, waving the Mexican flag, Cuban flags. It was beautiful. I was like, I love the culture. I love the food. I love the music. They're just good people. There was one flag that I saw, I took a picture of, and it was half American and it was half Mexican. And I know that a lot of white, racist MAGA supporters are going to be triggered because America first, freedom, the American flag. How you dare it? But you know what? I'm only second generation myself. My great grandfather came from Hamburg, Germany, into Portland. It's healthy. We are a melting pot. You can, and you know what's funny? And tell me if I'm wrong. And I thought about this. I actually believe, and this is for my Latino brothers and sisters, because I love you guys. I believe that they actually love this country more than MAGA does.
Oh, absolutely.
They do.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what triggers a lot of passion, support, compassion is what we're seeing. And I know LA is on the radar for everything, but to see that, you know, Dallas is speaking up, you know, and I'm like, wow, you know, we got the leaders and all these, and LULAC, and so it's on YouTube. Everyone can pull it up. It was today, but that's the kind of camaraderie and support that's needed, you know, and I'm like all for it. You know, Dallas is pretty much a blue city. So is Houston. So is Austin.
Let me share something with you really.
You know,
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? The best man at my wedding, the guy that served overseas in Iraq, he's a hero to me. He's protesting for the first time ever. And I had another guy that I know from baseball. He's like, this is my first protest ever. Now, I'm not saying that's because of me. I'm not taking credit for that. But I believe that when more people say stuff, that leadership sometimes isn't being elected. It's not picked, voted in. Sometimes leaders just get up and walk. Sometimes they just cross a bridge or sit on a bus or take a knee. And if that's what I have to do, but I like the fact that people are saying, what's happening? What's happening? We need to go forward. And I see what's happening. And the more of us that make aware of it and they spread light on there, that's how we do it. And I think the more we there, and this is the thing, there is a hell of a lot more of us than there are of those MAGA white supremacists by a lot. They're just a squeaky wheel.
And I want everyone who's going out, no matter what city they're in, be careful, be vigilant, be mindful. You know, watch out for each other, because tomorrow we are going to have. I firmly believe we're going to have some of those right-wing white supremacists out counter protesting. So just be mindful, be careful. Stick up for each other, fly your flags, and
thanks for the call.
Do it. All right, you have a good weekend.
All right, see ya. Kim, who's next? Let's go to Kim. Kim, how are you today? Happy Friday.
Hey, you too. Hey, Paul, I'm from West Virginia. You know, we're a very red state. I'm a proud Democrat. I've been in our party for years. I've worked in it, and I'm going to tell you something. I listen to so many of these people, and they have no idea. I mean, Trump came here the first time he was running, promised the coal miners everything. He went from the south to the north and promised coal miners everything. He sent Melania here and promised them. The old man sat across from her, looked at her boobs, and she promised him everything, and nothing was ever done. People believe here in this state, oh, Trump is everything. He's going to do everything for us. And let me tell you something. Trump's done nothing for West Virginia. Neither has the Republican Party. Neither has Justice. Now Morsi is now, you know what Morsi's doing? Morsi, the governor, and Capito and all them, they are running the bills that the Project 2025. They are writing the bills of 2025. That's what they're going by. And every day it's the same thing. I'm tired of it. And these Latinos that are voting for Trump, the gentleman a couple calls before
he was a troll. He wasn't a real person. He was a MAGA supporter. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about?
So let me ask you a quick question. Let me ask you a quick question, because I know we're getting near the end here. This is my opinion. I believe that the people that do that, they think that somehow, if they're closer to whiteness, that somehow that's going to let them in the cool people's club. Do you share that, or do you think I'm completely off base on that?
I believe it. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't understand that we are one of the poor states, the most uneducated. That's what I tell people every day. Do you understand what tariffs are going to do to us? you understand we are the first uneducated state.
Yep.
Why don't it's so easy to? Why don't you people Google, educate yourself on what's being told to you?
I think for them, they just want to own the libs. So, all right, let me. I got a few minutes left here, so I hate to cut you off, but I got to go to the next caller really quick. But
I know.
It was a pleasure talking with you today.
I'll be out tomorrow in West. There's several counties in West Virginia that are protesting.
Don't engage the little children with red hats. That's what they want.
Not.
Stay away from
and
them.
Trump is not. Screw Trump.
Yep. All right. Let's go to Dave. Dave, how you doing, buddy? How you doing?
Hi. How are you, Paul?
I'm good. It's Friday. I almost get to leave. Brian's.
All right. I thought
I got to get a paycheck from Brian today. I hope.
Steve. Yeah.
What's on your mind today?
Well, two-faceted. One, I grew up watching the Nixon fiasco and getting 126 draft number because of Lyndon Johnson. So we have two presidents, Lyndon Johnson, who ruined everything good he did socially because of the Vietnam War. He ruined his reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nixon came along. And so we went from the frying pan into the kettle, right? Mm-hmm. But so I grew up in a very energetically stimulated youth movement called the Civil Rights Movement.
Yep.
That's what we like to call it. And very energetic, very every day on the edge of our seats, every day asking questions of each other. That's what my generation did. But I got to tell you, and this is the topic I chose over why why Christians voted for Trump. Okay. I call that the Dunning syndrome. But
let's be real clear. They're not Christians. They're modern day Pharisees.
But all I'm saying is this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That what's going on right now in this country, and I'm talking to a lot of my friends who are my age. I'm 77, and they're saying this is way worse.
Yeah, we're going back to they want to go back to segregation. That's exactly what this is. Let's just be honest.
And it's not even just segregation. It's just moving the country backwards and causing fear and turmoil. And like every day we wake up, there's a new piece of negative information. It's bad enough getting old, let alone getting old with Donald Trump. Holy cow.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy.
I
got a hello? Oh, all right, buddy. Well, thanks for the call. We're going into rapid fire now. Who is next? We are going to CJ. Thanks for holding, CJ.
Hey, just a quickie thing first.
Yes, sir.
The CRT, somebody had mentioned that being in schools, an earlier caller. The only CRT I know of that's been in public schools or even has got replaced with flat panel displays.
You mean TV screens?
It was CRT displays and computer labs and stuff.
No. CRT is they call it.
I know what it means. I'm saying that's the only CRT that's actually been in public schools.
Yeah, and let me ask you a quick question. Uh-huh. I understand that they're fear mongering to their uneducated, white supremacist base. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is this, and I hold the Democrats accountable to this because they've done a piss poor job. Let me ask you three questions and they'll make sense. Have you seen any Democrat say, give me the names of 50 schools K through 12 that teach CRT? Give me the names.
There's not even one.
Well, hold on. No, give me a second. Let me land the plane, and then I'll let you answer. I want to ask a series of questions at once. Have you heard any Democrat say, give me the names of 50 people that have been hired that are unqualified through DEI? Give me the names of 50 kids that have in K through 12 that have gone through trans surgeries. Have you heard any Democrat ask anybody on the floor or on media those three questions?
Of course not.
That's the problem. They're letting Republicans go through the zone, and that's why people are pissed off and angry, and rightfully so.
Yeah, actually, the CRT hysteria thing came about by a man named Chris Rufo, and he brags about it on his Twitter.
This is all through the Heritage Foundation and the Seven Mountain Mandates. Don't kid yourself. This is all about maintaining white Christian nationalism. Every single bit of this. One more thing.
Yeah, another subject real quick because it's important.
Mhm.
For the protests tomorrow, be very careful. Like if you see that there are like bricks or something laid out or something, that's a trap.
I know what you're talking about. They put on pallets
there'll
last
be
time on the
agents
sidewalk.
provocateurs and stuff.
All right, buddy. Rapid fire. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thanks for the call today, man. Joseph is next. Rapid fire.
Hey,
Joseph.
good to talk to you. Good to talk to you, Paul. How's everything?
It's good, man. It's been a long week. It's a lot to get ready for show and talk, and I haven't talked this much in a while. I'm sure my wife appreciates it. She could probably just put me on mute and doesn't have to listen to me.
So many things to address. I'll just get right down to business.
Yes, sir.
I want to address the Afghan people that helped us so they're getting deported. You mentioned it way earlier. Out of all the things you talked about, I have to bring it back to that.
Which I didn't hear the issue. I'm sorry, you broke up just a little.
The Afghan supporters of the American government that are getting deported.
Oh, the guy that was dragged out of it. Isn't that despicable?
Yes. Bro, I have some crazy story to tell you real quickly.
Real quick.
So I worked as a bomb dog detection handler in Afghanistan for 4 years. And for 2 of those years, I worked for a task force where our main job was to support a special operations task force. And while doing that job, I was not qualified and set up like these guys were, but I was assimilated and brought into the group to perform this job with these guys. It was very special to them because we were using hunting dogs instead of attack dogs. They loved this because the dogs wouldn't attack the handlers or the teammates. I watched an Afghan interpreter, the nicest man I've ever met in my entire life, who lives in California, who came back to Afghanistan, save an American soldier's life, only to be killed in the process while trying to help another soldier afterwards. He was a really, really good guy. And I saw a lot of Afghans who were from Afghanistan itself that they were on the task force. They were expected to perform at the same level. They were actually dragged along with the promise of becoming American citizens as long as you sacrifice and they put their lives on the line for what most Americans, the 1%, outside the 1%, most of them are just completely oblivious to in the first place. By the way, Rob, if you're listening to this still, you're a coward.
Yeah.
You're a moral coward. That's why you don't understand the qualities that these men possess.
Yeah.
You're from this land and you don't even belong here. You don't deserve to reap its benefits. I've seen Afghans with more soul or more heart than you'll ever possess in your entire life. So MAGA trolls eat it.
Yeah, I you know what, sir? Tell me if I'm wrong here, but I really believe this. I believe that a lot of these immigrants, even the people that served, you know, in the Afghans, they're in all the time in the wars, they love this country more than MAGA do. MAGA just want their version of white America. They actually love the idea, the people, the freedoms. They actually love this country the way that it should be loved, in my opinion, sir.
They helped me. I wasn't a special forces tabbed guy, so my involvement was very limited until I got very well acquainted. But every single time I went anywhere, the interpreters were the dudes that brought me in and were like, yo, what do you need? What can I get you? How can I help you? Even though I had a dog with me, they still liked my dog. And they were Afghans at heart, so they weren't naturally inclined to like dogs at all. And I was just amazed because I wouldn't have survived as long as I did. Also, my uncle-in-law is in an ICE concentration camp right now in New Mexico. He's been there for 3 months and counting. We can't get him out. I've written my letter. We're trying. The boomerang has come back around to hit us. That gentleman from New York earlier, it sounds like Joe Pesci knows what's going on.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to. First of all, I don't. When I say I appreciate your service, I had a buddy that served. I don't take that lightly. You left your family. You missed birthdays. It's really important for people to truly not just say it like, "Do you want me to pay the bill?" Like truly appreciate what people did for our country, and I sincerely do that. It's just. What bothers me is, like my friend earlier, she says, I'm not going to sacrifice my livelihood for a pregnant woman. And I agree. I'm doing this. Like, I don't know you and I don't know your friend, but I'm speaking out because I give a damn about your friend in there, even though it doesn't affect me. And again, I work too. I have friends on here that don't agree with me and I don't give a damn. I don't care because this is the right thing to do. And if I have people that are doing business with me and they're like, oh, we have a difference of opinions. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that voting for a rapist and picking up nine-month-old pregnant women is a difference of opinion. then I don't want to do business with you. I frankly don't care, because this is way too important than just, use my white privilege because I'm worried about losing some followers on TikTok or Facebook. Because frankly, sir, I don't give a damn. If you sacrificed your time, the least we can do is stand up and do something like this and stand up for what's right, sir.
Yeah, we have moral integrity. We must exercise it in a time like right now. It's more important than ever.
All right,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
No
buddy.
Kings Bay, Las Vegas. Love y'all.
See you, man. Pat is next.
Hey, Paul. Thank you for doing such an awesome job with Brian does.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. You know why we don't have a female president?
Preach it.
Because they say women are too emotional. But what have we seen in the last couple of weeks? These two men going at it.
Yep. Little children.
And exactly. If that's not emotions, I don't know what it is.
You know what's fast? Oh, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. If you want to say something, I got one more.
When the gentleman called earlier, I said, he's worried about illegals, and he couldn't even give me the names of 20 that have committed a crime. My thing is, we have over 40,000 people that die from gun violence every year, right? And 93% are done by white men, 17 to 25, not immigrants, not women, pissed off, toxic masculinity, alpha males that don't know how to control their emotions, and they turn to violence.
Exactly.
And they never want to talk about that. They want to talk about the brown people or Lincoln Riley or Ashley Babbitt, because I need to be the victim.
Exactly. And one other point.
Yes, ma'am.
The Mexican guy or Latino guy that called in, the nerve of him to be mad with his own people.
He's a troll. He's a troll. He's a
To
troll.
be mad with your own people. That was disgusting to me.
Let me ask you a question. Can I want to ask somebody, can I ask what your nationality is? Just curious, just because I'm curious.
I am a black woman. Black woman in Maryland.
Then you're the right person to ask. This is what I think, and maybe I'm oversimplifying it, and you tell me if I'm wrong here. This country, part of this country that has red hats that changed in their white hoods for red hats, saw a black man sitting behind the Resolute desk instead of picking their cotton, and they lost their minds, and they said, we're going to go back to what we know, and we're going to go for the plantation owner, because we're going to pick the most unqualified, educated white man that's picking our pocket over the most qualified black man. Have I said anything that's not wrong?
100% right. 100% right. They said we're going to make them pay for that.
Yep.
Yes. They're going to make, they said, we're going to take them all the way down.
Let me ask you one more question, because I'm the wrong demographic, and I want to ask you. For these men, the Latinos and the black men, is it just they're running out to their mailbox thinking that a membership card's coming in? Am I completely off base there, or is it something else?
Evidently, that's what they're waiting for. With Brian Donaldson and Tim Scott, what are they thinking? I bet their mothers are just disgusted with them. I know I would be if my son was supporting Trump.
You know what's funny is in his first administration, the only black cabinet member was urban housing, and the second, urban housing. If that's not a racist trope, that's a blowhorn. That's not even a dog whistle.
Thank you.
Dinner time.
It's because I love Tim Scott. Oh, it's because I love you.
Yeah.
And what did he do for Tim Scott?
So
kick them right to the curb.
One last thing, and I'll let you go, because we got one more call. We got to go here in a second.
Sure.
My belief is that the reason we're here is because enough people that look like me aren't doing what I'm doing right here with you and on TV and on social media.
100, Paul. You are 100% right. And then they want us blacks to come out in the street. Of course, they're waiting for us to come out there so they can make an example out of us.
Let me tell a quick story. I know we're up against the wall. I got one more caller. Carl, hold on. I'll be with you 1 second. This is how I see it for people that don't understand. Let's say that I build a house, okay? And let's say that, what was your name, ma'am? What was your name again?
Pat.
Let's say that Pat moves into the house, okay? Pat moves into the house. It's a great house. Over the course of time, it gets cracks in the walls, cracks in the ceilings, and they realize that the foundation of the house wasn't set properly. It wasn't right. Is it Pat's responsibility to fix the house, or is it up to the home builder that designed the house and built it on that foundation with a jacked up foundation to come in and fix it? It's my job because I built the house.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what we have to do. We designed this country, this house, on white supremacy, and we have to rebuild it.
Exactly. 100. When I see a MAGA hat, I automatically say that's a racist.
Yep. All right, ma'am. I'm sorry to go, but I'm up against the wall, and then I got one more call. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Great weekend.
All right, you too. Carl, you might be my last call today, my man. Or not. I can talk to myself for a few minutes while we're getting Carl on here. I like to do that. Is he on? No? Well, it looks like we lost Carl. So, Brian will be, let me recap what's going to happen next week. Brian will be back with the sunburn. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to sit in his chair. I know that Numchuck over here is probably going to put some lotion on it. He's going to have some red spots. Do we have any super chats? One? Okay. So I talked to Governor McGovern. Oh, thank you. Alexa said, Paul, you've done a great job. I would love for you to come back to you. Thank you, Alexa. I appreciate that. Now, I know my hat isn't as cool as Brian's, but I bought this at the World Series of Pokers here. So McGovern, is he on? Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me get to the other caller. We got it back on. Are you there?
Hello.
No, we got you on. I thought we lost you there.
Hello. You got me?
I got you here. You got me. One of the two. We're here. What's going on?
Good. I'll be real quick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. This is Carl. I've talked to you before, but buddy. I'm a psychologist. I was, and when I worked, I'm retired. But I also live in a place in Florida with a red state called Bal Harbor. It's the same as like Beverly Hills, a very high-end area. And there's still an ingrown racism in this country, and I'll tell you why real quick. They took a man in the Bal Harbor area who doesn't live there, a black gentleman who happened to be a doctor, and they dressed him very well, which he did, put him in a Mercedes and a recorder, and every time he drove through Bal Harbor, which is a very red state, you know, it's run by red people, and every time he drove through, they stop him, question him, say, where are you from? Where are you going? Where have you been? Are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm just listening. I don't want to interrupt you, sir. Go ahead. You're the last.
No,
caller.
I'm just saying, there's an ingrown racism. I can tell, being a psychologist, I know in people.
Yeah, sir. And thank you for the call today, sir. I'm going to let you go because I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you so much. He's right. If we do not deal with white supremacy in this country, it doesn't matter if the red team, the blue team, the middle team, it's not going to matter. The one good thing that came out of this Orange Plantation order being elected is that it's forced us to deal with the original sin of this country that we keep sweeping under the rug, and that is the white male patriarchy. And we have to fight it every day. So Monday, Brian will be back with his sunbird behind me, and I'm not sure if he's going to bring JD Couch's thing in here, but make sure you wipe it down, Numchuck, okay, with like wet wipes and isopropyl alcohol, because it's probably not sanitary. Jim McGovern will be on the show Monday. He was supposed to be on yesterday, but because of what happened with Padilla, he had to back out. So Brian will be back Monday interviewing Governor Jim McGovern from the great state of Massachusetts. And I hope one day to go there. Thank you, everybody, for being patient with me. This is the first time I've done something like this. So hopefully this rookie didn't do too bad. And I look to see you guys when I call in next week or the week after. All right. Love you guys. Peace.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super hero, that is, because why be